Welcome to Conversations in the Coop. I'm your host, Trinity Director of Athletics, Drew Galbraith. It's my pleasure to be joined today by a member of Trinity's women's hockey team, Lillian Cassidy. Lillian, thanks for joining us.
Thank you for having me. I'm so excited.
So we're getting to as we record this, we're getting right to the end of J term. It's the winter interim for our winter teams. It's really like camp for your sport. So it's the winter athletes pretty much alone on campus for 3-4 weeks. What's your favorite part of this time of year?
I think it's so much fun to just be on campus with no one else around. We're only with our team. We're hanging out all the time. We get to wake up and play hockey and then go to the gym and lift, and then we all hang out together, go to meals together. We've been getting really into movies. We've watched a lot of movies, and I think it's just fun. It's kind of like a bonding activity for all the girls on the team. And I think J-term, we always come out being a lot closer than we did going in.
Do you feel like you've had obviously some road trips in the first semester and during this period of time, but is it one of those real opportunities to get to know the first years that you might not have known as well coming in?
Yeah, I think so, because it's almost like, yes, everybody has like friends that are on different teams, but the majority of our time is spent as a team. So you find yourself kind of like talking to a first year about maybe like what their high school is like, or like how they like being on the team so far. And it really gives you the opportunity to get to know them better instead of just saying like, oh, good shift, or how are your classes. Like, it's a lot more in depth and a lot more personal than just regular conversation.
So your journey to Trinity starts far, far away, out in Colorado, born and raised in Aspen. So just talk about growing up in Colorado and getting involved in hockey as a young girl.
Mm-hmm. So my dad played hockey at Connecticut College, and so me and my 3 other sisters, he started us off pretty young. I think we all started skating around maybe like 4 or 5, starting in the IP programs. And so Aspen has a hockey program for both girls and boys. So it was the Aspen Junior Leafs, that was our name. And so yeah, my dad just kind of started us off skating, and then we got into the program. And my dad was my coach for until I left for boarding school. He was the girls' like main coach. He coached like 3 teams at a time, because he really loves hockey, and so that's why he got us involved in it. So yeah, but it's tough because Colorado hockey is just a bit limited. I mean, we have I played in the Tier 3 program, and then maybe when I was like 12 years old, they started the Tier 2 program. And so the only Tier 3 program was in Denver, or the Tier 1 program was in Denver, which was really far away, so that was kind of hard. So even though it was like limited opportunities for higher level hockey, it was still, they were really trying, and it was a really good foundation for me to start off with.
So growing up, you're one of, as you said, one of 4 sisters. Mm-hmm. They're all 2 years apart. Mm-hmm. How much rivalry or lack thereof, just because of some of the age difference, from doing the math correctly, your older sister is 6 years older than your youngest?
Yes.
Okay, so what was that dynamic like for you and your sisters, or were you effectively spread amongst those 3 different teams?
Yeah, so I would always overlap with my older sister most years, and then my younger sister, just because it would be like 12 and 14, we'd play on the same team maybe. It was so much fun playing together with them. It was like, we just have like the sister power. We all used to play defense, so we'd have like 2 sisters on the blue line. It was really, really fun. And then once we started to get older, we'd go to like rivaling boarding schools, so we'd get the opportunity to play against each other then. And then also my 2 younger sisters went to St. Paul's School, which I went to. So then we'd also have like the sister dynamic. It was really fun. And then that continued on in college, playing against my older sister at Ronan. So it was always like a really competitive game. She just graduated, but it was fun rivalry, but nothing ever too serious.
So your family is doing something unique. We've had all sorts of siblings on the podcast. We're going to have 2 Trinity athletes here at the same time. Mm-hmm. We've had plenty of students who had parents who were both parents were NESCAC athletes, but I can say so far, your family takes the cake for a number of NESCAC athletes, a number of schools covered as well. Yeah. No duplication so far. Yeah. So I'm going to make sure I get this correct. Mm-hmm. Dad was a hockey player at Con.
Yes.
Mom played volleyball at Hamilton.
Yes.
Older sister at Bowdoin. Mm-hmm. You're here at Trinity. The next youngest sister is now at Wesleyan, volleyball and potentially rowing this year. And then a younger sister is in the application process. So did she feel pressure to have to apply to the other 6 NESCACs that weren't mentioned already?
I don't think so. No, I think she said, I'm just gonna apply to wherever. If we get a duplication, like that's okay. But it's funny because it just kind of happens, and we didn't realize it until we didn't realize how kind of strange that was until this year. I was watching a volleyball game at Wesleyan with my parents, and they have the banner of all the NESCACs, and it was an alternation of it was like yes, no, yes, no, yes, no with all the families. So it was pretty funny. But I know my youngest sister, she would love to go to school with any of us. I mean, if she gets into Trinity or Wesleyan and gets to go to school with us, it'd be awesome. But it'd be pretty cool if she went to a different NESCAC, just kind of spread the web further.
So your parents were obviously open to the idea of you going far away to college. They went to school on the East Coast, and I know your older sister did some some travel hockey where she was billeting away from home. So then, what was that leap like for you going to prep school? When you've been doing these long drives, playing travel hockey in Colorado. What was that leap like for you? How was that adjustment?
It was really tough in the beginning. I think when I first started applying to prep schools, it was more so I'll just try and get in, but I'm not actually gonna go to prep school. That's crazy. That's where all the bad kids go, and I'm not a bad kid. I don't know why I would do that. But through my parents' eyes too, it was getting a stellar education, being able to play hockey, having the resources all so close, and also having a staff that really cares about you, teaching, being able to go to your dorm parent for help on your homework. It was a really good place for me to go to work on my hockey and also get a really good education. That being said though, I remember when my mom moved me in, I was 15, I just turned 15 over the summer, and I'm living with a girl that I didn't even talk to her over the summer, and it was really, really scary. It was very similar to moving into college for the first time, except you're just a lot younger and the school's a lot smaller. So it definitely took me a few months to kind of build up the confidence to really feel like I could be myself. I was quite quiet when I was first there, which makes sense, I was shy, but I think it really helped me know how to navigate difficult situations like that. And once I kind of came out of my shell, I've been like that for, I don't know, 6 or 7 years now, so it was really good for just social skills overall, even though it was scary.
So obviously your experience was positive enough that younger sisters then followed you to St. Paul's, and I'm assuming they've had somewhat similar experiences, just in the sense that it is an opportunity to get out of your shell. And did you feel like that really helped you coming to Trinity, feeling like you almost had a head start on what the adjustment to college is going to be like?
I think yes, it definitely I'd already been living away from home for 4 years, so I wasn't really missing anything there. But what I was really nervous about was the social scene. It was a whole new group of people. I didn't talk to anybody going in. I didn't know anybody in my class. But that's where I found that hockey was really, really good for the beginning of my time at Trinity. It was the second I stepped onto campus, I was getting texts from other girls in my class on the team asking me to go to dinner, and the upperclassmen immediately roped us in and made us feel really welcome. So my adjustment to Trinity took probably 4 hours maybe, and then just started to feel normal. It was like camp. It was really fun.
So as you identified Trinity as a school, what was it that as you're in that recruiting process, you still want to go to a good school, but you want the opportunity to play hockey? What was it about Trinity that made it feel like college, made it feel like home?
So I remember my dad and I, we took a East Coast tour of all the colleges that I was thinking of applying to, or maybe talking to some coaches. And I remember when we got to Trinity, we parked the car in the parking lot right behind Seabury, and then walked through the arch between Jarvis and Seabury. And it was this beautiful hot summer day. I think it was in July, and there were some kids throwing a football around on the main quad, and I was I could totally
Feels like
do
college.
this. Yeah, I was like, this looks awesome. Are you kidding me? So I kind of kept that in the back of my mind throughout the recruiting process. And then once I started talking to the coaches at Trinity, I think Mia Del Vaso, she reached out to me first because she was going to be at a tournament that I was playing at in December of my senior year. And so then after that, she said, like, I like the way you played in that game. We had a call, and then things kind of settled down. And then I got the call from Coach Keith saying that he was like, we'd love to have you on the team. We want to commit you. And I was on like the bus coming back from the tournament for St. Paul's, and I went out and I told all the girls on the team, and everyone was jumping up and down. It was so exciting, and I was so excited. I knew that I could see myself there once I went to visit. We didn't go on an official tour or anything, but it was more so the feeling that I got of being on campus. It was just like, I could tell that I would do really well here.
Well, I think that's the, you know, you can kind of overanalyze it, but ultimately we make these choices on somewhat visceral reactions, right? And this feels like college, it feels like home, it feels like someplace I can be my best self. So you're really engaged on campus. I mean, it's a lot of time and effort to be a varsity athlete, but you've also got a radio show at WRTC. So talk about how you got involved in that, what inspired you to walk through those doors.
Yeah, so one of my favorite parts of the year is the club fair. Even though I'm a junior right now, I always go to the club fair and I sign up for like 15 different clubs, just because like you never know if you find something that you're good at. So I remember seeing it at the club fair my freshman year. And then I was kind of like, I don't know, I'm a little nervous. But then I met a senior who brought up that he had a radio show. So then he'd invite me to go over to the studio to like shadow, because you needed to do some shadowing to get your own show. And I did that for the spring semester of my freshman year. Even though I had already passed over the hours, it was so much fun to just be in there and just like watch him do everything. So everything I learned was from him. And then the year after that, I had talked to Chris Callis, who is the manager, and I got my own show. And since then, it has been a highlight of my week. I just go in there, I play music that I like, and I like introducing people to other music, even though like people probably heard it. My music taste is not like that unique, but it's really fun.
Give us a sense. What is your? We've had other hosts in here, so give us a sense of what your show, what we're gonna hear.
Yeah. So my show, I pick a different genre for each week. Sometimes I like to do like maybe 80s rock, maybe 90s hip hop. I'll do some like indie folk, and then maybe like indie 2000s. You know, it really depends on like what I'm feeling, but it's a different genre each week. But some of my favorites to play is probably Alex G, Blood Orange, and then if I have like a hip hop or an R&B night, I'll play Threat Fires. So those are like my big three.
Do your teammates ever try to get some of their stuff on your show?
Kind of, yeah. You know, I'll have some of the girls over to the studio or just some friends, because it's like such a lovely place to hang out. They have like these bright LED lights. It's really surreal, but it's really cool. And whenever I have friends in the studio, I always ask them, like, do you have anything that you want to play? Like, it's kind of like they're like the guest star in there. So I'm always open to suggestions, and if they want to play something, they totally can. So,
majoring psychology now, you see yourself doing something with that, or is that just an entree into whatever the next opportunity is?
Yeah, I think I'm not entirely sure yet. I'm sure with a lot of college students, like I don't really know where the path after will take me, but I think my ultimate dream is to be a clinical therapist, and I know that it takes a lot of work and a lot of schooling, but if I can end up there, like at the end of my career, then I'll be really happy and really content, because I think like therapy has helped me, and I know so many other people so much. So if I were to be able to do the same thing to help other people, that would just mean the absolute world. Like I really want to do that. But like that being said, I think we'll see what happens after college, see if I am able to find something that I'm excited about to work in, and then if I come back to that dream later in a few years, like I'd be okay with that. If it takes 1 year or 20, like we'll see where it takes me.
What about location? For the wide open spaces of the West call you?
Not yet. Not after college. I think I'll I could see myself moving back to Colorado in maybe like 30 years, I'd say, once I'm ready to settle down and live that western snowy life, which I will be again, but I really want to go to the city, New York City, as a lot of people do, but I think like I have so much energy right now that I feel like I gotta put it into something really big, you know.
Well, speaking of putting energy into something, second half of the season underway. We've got about 6 weekends left in the regular season, so now we're in NESCAC play, and it's a lot of back-to-back games. So, what's maybe most critical for your team the rest of the way? Had some really good results, a couple of really close losses, and what's it going to take for this team to put it all together over the last portion of the season?
Yeah, so we started out our season really, really strong, which was fantastic, and I think that is a more accurate portrayal of like the ability that our team has instead of the past few games. We've been on a pretty big losing streak, but I think the talent on our team is just absolutely phenomenal this year, and we know, everybody on the team knows that there's something that's not quite clicked, but it's almost there, and once we get that, it's gonna be huge. So I think like rolling into the last bit of the season, we're gonna have to really work on our communication and building that chemistry between the lines. And we've done a lot of switch up like recently, trying to test out how you play with different girls. You know, it can really create something that's really big. But we're putting in the work, and it's coming, and we know it's coming. And it's just going to take a lot more hard work and a lot of communication, and also like trusting each other.
Well, everybody's rooting for you the rest of the way. Can't wait to see what the team does. Lillian, thanks for taking the time. Really appreciate you joining us.
Thank you so much.
That'll do it for this conversation in the Coop. For the latest news, scores, and schedules, go to bantamsports.com. Follow us on social @bantamsports. Until next time.